Hey folks, and welcome to another video of mine. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Samsung's Tizen OS, and we're going to compare it with Android TV OS, and we're going to talk about what has been my experience with Samsung's Tizen OS on Samsung AU9070. I've used this television for a little over 3 weeks now, and I'm going to talk about all the things that you find or you would get in Samsung's Tizen OS. How good is it? Does it lag? Is it snappy? Is it fast? Is it slow? Does it hang? And what about the apps? What about the user interface, etc.? So all those things we're going to talk about in detail in this video. So stick around till the end of the video and you'll get to find out how good or how bad the Samsung's Tizen OS really is when compared to Android TV OS. So let's get started, folks. All right, folks, in case you're wondering, what is Android television OS doing on my Samsung television? Well, let me tell you that I've connected my Mi box, and there's the little boy there. That's my Mi box, and I've connected that to my Samsung television, and that's running in the background. And that's how you are able to see an Android television OS on my Samsung TV. Now, I do want to talk about the boot times. The boot times on your Samsung TV OS is very, very snappy. And once you boot it up, it's very fast. But even if you switch it off from the main switch and then turn the television on, in my experience, I've got a Nokia television which has that Onkyo soundbar, and that takes almost a minute to boot up. So that's how long it takes for that Android TV OS 9 to boot up. Whereas in the case of this Samsung Tizen OS, it boots up in a matter of seconds. I believe, less than 10 seconds, in fact 5 seconds or so. And it's really fast. Now, even if I turn this off right now like this, and if I turn it back on, it is that snappy. So I really like this bit about, it booting up. And for you to start experiencing your television, it hardly takes time. So this is a fantastic point that I love about the Tizen OS. All right, the other thing that I do want to talk about the Tizen OS is, by the way, don't get distracted by that Android TV OS in the background, all right? Tizen OS interface is right here. This is where the Tizen OS lies. And it's a beautiful user interface. I would say it looks comparatively better to your Android TV OS. And I have my reasons why, because let me just quickly snap out of this. This is the same TV OS that you've been watching in Android TV OS 9, 10, and now even 11. So there's hardly any difference. Well, I do agree that they have now come up with the Google TV interface, and that looks comparatively more interesting. In fact, it looks very similar to your, you could say, these curated TV, guides or content that you even find on MI televisions. But if you take a look at this, well, it has a universal guide. What exactly is this? It's a list of curated content. So for instance, if you've been watching some shows or movies on Netflix, as an example, it shows you all the screens and you have easy access to them, from here. And the same goes for, a lot of other shows, a lot of other movies on, let's say, Prime Video, etc. I did watch this movie, Tom Clancy's Without Remorse. All right, not bad. It's all there. So if you take a look at the interface, and in terms of sheer beauty and in the way it looks, it's definitely a better looking interface than your Android TV OS. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. It's well, there is that sense of familiarity, because this is exactly the same OS that you've been seeing for the last few years. So you are gonna feel right at home. That's a good thing and a bad thing, because it's a bad thing because it's boring. Let me be very straightforward in saying that. The good thing is that you don't have a learning curve. So you're going to feel right at home, and you're going to be able to navigate and move around just like you did with the other Android TV OS. But I like the interface because the Tizen user interface, that is, I like it because it's so good. It's very fast, it's very light and very snappy. You can move around from one place to the other in a very quick way. Okay, let's quickly talk about the apps, because this is going to be one of those areas, where a lot of people are going to be concerned. A lot of people are going to be concerned because they might think the Tizen operating system might not have as many apps as the Android operating system. Well, first of all, you're not wrong. You're absolutely right. Of course, there's no competition between these two app stores. So when it comes to the app availability, in terms of the plethora of apps available, things like that, Android definitely takes the cake. But in terms of your daily usage, you would not be disappointed, because Tizen OS, well, it has you covered. And the reason why I say it's got you covered is because YouTube, you have it. Hotstar, you have it. Z5, you got it. Sony Live, you got it. YouTube Kids, Sun Next, Aha, Spotify, all your regular streaming apps, they're all here. In fact, let me show you that I've already downloaded Hotstar from the App Store. It doesn't come straight out of the box, but what comes straight out of the box would be a Netflix, Prime Video, and even Apple TV comes straight out of the box, and it's all there. I've even downloaded Apple Music. It works absolutely fine, no worries whatsoever. So everything that I need in terms of my streaming content and my streaming providers, they're all here. So in terms of that, I don't really need to be concerned. It's the same bunch of things that you see here on your Android TV. So if you take a look at my Android TV interface, I've got YouTube, Netflix, Prime Video, Hotstar, and till some time back, Android TV did not have Apple TV. Well, now you do have Apple TV on Android TV OS as well. But till, let's say, a couple of months back, Apple TV was available on your Tizen OS, but it was not available on your Android TV OS. So I like that about the Tizen OS. And in terms of app availability, although it can't compete with what Android TV OS has to offer, but hey, let me tell you that in terms of your daily needs, it's got you covered. It's got everything that you want to. Netflix, Prime, Hotstar TV, and Apple TV, it's all there. So this is where I mostly consume my content, and I'm glad that Tizen OS has that covered. Well, the other thing that I actually like about your Tizen TV OS is the fact that they also have something called Samsung TV Plus. So in case you are wondering what exactly is this, well, it's got its own list of curated channels that it's got for you, and all you need is just an internet connection for you to be able to watch this. Oops, I'm just gonna turn the volume down. And well, all you need, like I said, is just an internet connection. You don't need a set-top box, and you've got loads of channels here. So in case you want to, breeze through any of these channels, just feel free to do that, and you can just click on any one of them and start watching them straight away. So it's I would say it's quite a good thing to have, and I appreciate the fact that they included something like the Samsung TV Plus. So I thought I would quickly mention that as well. Well, there are some other neat features as well, that come along on your Tizen TV OS. You've got a PC mode, you've got something called an ambient mode. Well, I have covered all of these in my detailed video of the Samsung AU9070 review. So feel free to check that video out in case you haven't already watched that video. I recommend that you do. Now, there are also things like multi-view, etc. Now, these are baked-in features that Samsung's Tizen OS has, and they are, you could say, feel-good features, good features to have in case you're really into workouts, etc. You can actually take advantage of that multi-view, provided you have a Samsung phone as well. You do require a Samsung phone for that, folks. Now, moving on to the other stuff like smart things. Well, you can control your smart applications, your smart devices. All you got to do is just add that smart device to the list of devices here, and you can control it with your voice. You can add a smart, you could say a smart water filter, a smart purifier, a smart vacuum cleaner, etc., smart lights, whole bunch of things. You can add them and you can control them with your voice. Now, speaking of voice, let's quickly talk about that as well. Now, when it comes to your voice assistants, you're getting a bargain, because you just don't have one like you have on the Android TV OS, but you've got three. So you can choose from Bixby, you can choose from Alexa, and then you have a good old Google Assistant as well. So you've got three voice assistants here. So let's say, for instance, hey, today I'm in the mood for Google Assistant. Well, I'm going to use that today. But tomorrow, let's say I'm in the mood for Bixby. I can quickly switch over to Bixby and start using Bixby's voice assistant. And then let's say next week, I want to use the whole week with Amazon Alexa. I can completely do that. But on your Android TV OS, you are actually limited to your Google Voice Assistant. So here you have an option of three, and you can choose from that. And I appreciate the fact that you do have these three options. Now, speaking of voice assistants, a lot of people, they have this fascination towards controlling your television without your remote and through your voice. First of all, let me tell you that I am not one of those people. I like using the good old remote. In this case, I'm a little old-fashioned, you could say. Now, having said that, I do understand that people like to try out new things. They like, trying controlling their television with your voice. Now, first of all, it's still one of those things, which hasn't really come to that mark where you have this seamless experience, you could say. I'm not talking about only the Tizen OS. I'm talking about, your Google television, your Android TV OS as well. But let me give you an example and show you, why I'm not really fond of it. By the way, in case you're wondering that, hey, you've got Android TV OS and Android TVs now, which come with far field mics located here. So in case you want to control your television with your voice, you can do that. But hey, can the Tizen OS do that? Let me tell you that it absolutely can, and I'm going to show you an example how. I would like to say that I'm again not a fan of this, but hey, I'm just going to show you an example. Here's the remote, here's the hand, here's my hand, and let's say, hey Google, turn Samsung TV volume to 30. And the volume was changed instantly. Hey Google, turn Samsung TV volume to 0. Oh, it changed it to 20. See, this is why I don't like it. Bad boy Google, bad boy. But let's try that again. Hey Google, turn Samsung TV volume to 0. It's just not accepting it. Well, this is why I like your good old remote, all right? But let's try this. Hey Google, mute Samsung TV. It did mute Samsung TV. Hey Google, turn off Samsung TV. Fantastic. Hey Google, turn on Samsung TV.
Got it. Turning on the Samsung TV.
Well, there you have it. I did control, I mean, there are more things that you can do with it, but I'm not very fond of this. So in case you are, well, the feature's right there, all right? So go ahead, use it. I'd like to stick to my good old remote, and I'm happy with that. So I'm just gonna, still use my remote. But in case you want to, you just don't have one. You have 3 options here. You've got Alexa, and you've also got Bixby. So you're not just limited to your Google voice assistant. You have 2 others as well. Well, quickly rounding this up, my experience with this television has now been for a good, say, about 3 weeks. And in 3 weeks, I've grown quite fond of the Tizen operating system. I, in fact, prefer this operating system over Android, and I even prefer it over WebOS. Now, of course, I don't have a LG television now, but I've owned an LG TV. In fact, I've got it in my family as well. I was just talking to one of my family members in Singapore the other day, and his LG television, unfortunately, in a span of 4 years, it conked off. But here's his gripe: when he was watching a movie, right in between the movie, the magic remote cursor would suddenly pop up here. Now imagine you're watching a dark scene, and then you have that pink cursor which comes up on its own. It has a mind of its own. How distracting that could be. Now, I'm not saying that the WebOS by LG is a bad OS. It's good. It looks good as well. It's quite light, just like your Tizen OS. But if I have to choose between the two, I would perhaps drift more towards the Tizen OS. And I'm not saying that because I own this and I don't own an LG TV. Like I said, I've had it in the past, I have it in the family, and it is good. It's not bad, but it's not as good as your Tizen OS. I still prefer your Tizen OS over your LG's WebOS. Now, when it comes to your Android TV OS, your Tizen OS cannot beat your Android TV OS in terms of the sheer applications. And speaking of applications, I'm going to round this off, by quickly talking about that as well. When it comes to the applications, especially games, all right? Now you have got a plethora of games that are available on your Google Play Store. And this is an area where the Samsung's Tizen OS cannot compete with Play Store or with Android TV OS. You have so many games here. In fact, this huge library of games and applications. So in terms of sheer volume, Tizen OS is not going to be able to compete with Android TV OS in terms of the sheer volume of apps that are available on the App Store, the Google's App Store, that is, or Play Store, as you would call it. But in terms of your daily needs, like your streaming apps, Tizen OS has got you covered there, so no problems there. But rounding it off, in terms of the overall experience, I would say I have had a very good experience with the Tizen OS, and I like it because it's light, I like it because it's snappy, I like it because it's really fast. I mean, anything that I want to do, it's there. For instance, Netflix, I press the button, bam, it's there. Prime Video, I press the button and bam, it's there. So it's that fast. And let me tell you that I've used Prime Video on Android TVs as well, and I have to say, and I have to give credit to Samsung, because the Prime Video app on your Tizen OS seems to be a little more better. It's kind of more optimized, and that gives you a better feeling when you're navigating through your Prime Video application. And I'm just talking about Prime Video application here. I just feel that it's a little more snappier. It's a little more, you could say, optimized in comparison to Android TV OS. All the other apps like YouTube, all the other apps like your Netflix, and you could say, which other app is there? Hotstar, by the way, Disney Hotstar. Yeah, all those are more or less the same. But when it comes to Prime Video, I actually prefer the Prime Video app on the Tizen OS. It's, again, optimized and it's comparatively better, I would say. And my experience with the Tizen OS has been extremely positive, and I would highly recommend, if I have to choose between the three OS at this stage, I would say, in case of games, this is not the OS. Tizen OS is not the OS. You are better off staying with Android TV OS and that ecosystem. So if you are into Android gaming, Android TV OS is the way to go. But for all your daily needs, like your streaming content, I believe this does a comparatively better job in terms of snappiness, in terms of all of the things. You know, it's really fast. And I would prefer this over your LG's WebOS. I've told my reasons why, you know, the cursor thing, and you know, I like this. You know, the interface is beautiful. It's good to look at as well. So from all that, I could say that I would highly recommend that you actually check out a Tizen OS TV, that is a Samsung TV, because it's only in Samsung TVs. And if you haven't already checked it, then I recommend that you do. If you have any of your friends who have Samsung television, then you can actually check it out at their place, or if you've got a family member, then do check it out. If you want to visit a store like a Samsung store, then do that. I tell it to all my viewers that don't just rely on what I'm saying, don't just rely on a bunch of YouTubers, do your own research as well. And because you are investing your hard-earned money in a device which is going to last or stay with you for the next 5 years or 6 years, and if that's the case, you know, you might as well do a little more research. So don't just go by my video or any other videos that you watch on YouTube. By the way, do watch other videos as well, but do your own research. I personally like the Tizen OS, and I would completely, you know, vouch for it because I own it now and I know how it functions, I know how it works, and I know how fast and how snappy it is. So I would recommend it. And compared to the Android TV OS, there are a few areas where it falls short, but in a lot of areas, it in fact excels and comes up on top. So I would recommend this TV OS, and I actually like it. If you've seen my Samsung AU9070 review, you know what I'm talking about. There are a whole lot of features that I've gone through in that video. So do check that video out in case you haven't already. And that's my, you could say, 2 cents. In fact, a little more than 2 cents on Samsung's Tizen OS. That brings me to the end of this video, folks. Well, I hope this video has been informative, and you've been able to understand, you know, I mean, how good or bad the Samsung Tizen OS really is, and how good an experience you would have with Samsung's Tizen OS. Well, in case you want to ask anything about this OS or this television, Samsung AU9070, feel free to reach out to me via the comment section and ask me any questions. I do get back to your comments as soon as I can. And if you have not already hit that like and subscribe button, what are you waiting for? It's free. Please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and also hit that bell icon in case you want to get notified with all my latest videos. Well, that's a wrap for this one. I would say thank you so much for watching, and until we meet again in the next video, folks, this is me signing off. Take care, stay safe, and may God bless you all.